The Free State Social Development Department says it's committed to helping the family of Katlego Bereng. Bereng is the man whose charred remains were found in the prison cell of convicted killer Thabo Bester at the Mangaung prison. That was, of course, as he staged that daring escape from cell 35. His family says they want answers and have threatened legal action. They've also called on government to assist them as their mental health, they say, has suffered severely as a result of this tragedy. For more on exactly how officials plan to intervene, we're joined this morning by Lindiwe Mnguni, who is the spokesperson for the Free State Social Development Department. Lindiwe, it's great to see you. Thanks very much indeed for coming on. The family of Katlego Bereng appealing for some sort of assistance. What does the Free State Social Development Department see as their role in bringing some help to this family?
Good morning, Michelle and your viewers. The Department of Social Development in this incident is responsible for providing psychosocial assistance. What we did was that as soon as we were made we were alerted on the state of the condition of the family. We immediately contacted our sister department, which is community safety and roads and transport. And once we got in touch with the investigating officers, our social workers were immediately dispatched to the family. So that happened yesterday. The family was given psychosocial assistance by our social workers. And on their assessment, they found that they are going to need more interventions, like more psychosocial assistance, because they were not coping well with this tragedy.
Yeah, and it's a tragedy that boggles the mind, right? A family that had been searching for their loved one for many, many months after he apparently went missing from social media, for them to now find out in this harrowing way that he was found, his remains were found in the cell, but having no idea of how his body would have gotten there.
That's very true. That's a very sensitive and a very shattering experience that they're going through.
So would you say the department sort of well equipped to deal with a case of such proportions?
Yes, it is. We took our best team of social workers who are very experienced in dealing with grief and in dealing with such traumatic experiences. So they have already started communicating with the family. And today, the family will be going to the morgue to identify the body. Our social workers will provide transport and will also be there for the family, because it won't be easy for them to go through that. Because remember, his body is already charred.
Correct. I mean, we've spoken to Katlego Bereng's father, who told us here on Newzroom Afrika that he wants to see his son's remains, no matter the condition. Is this something that your social workers, Lindiwe, would have advised him against, given what's been described as the state of his remains?
Grief, people handle grief in different ways. Because for others, seeing the body, no matter how badly it is, it gives them a sense of closure. But for some, it's going to even traumatize them further. What our social workers will do is that they will assess the state of mind and give them pre-counseling before they even view the body. And only after that they will advise them. But remember, we cannot force them not to go through and have a look at the body, but we can support and advise on how to handle this.
Closure will be a big part of how this family goes through the grief process, right? But what we know now is that the body cannot be released to the family, given that the investigation itself is ongoing. That also poses an incredibly difficult issue for the family, as I say, in terms of closure.
That is true. That is why the department will be providing them with psychosocial assistance until the whole process is completed. So that, there is someone they can talk to who is experienced and who's a professional who will be able to deal with their grief. Yeah.
And Lindiwe, it's still a long road ahead, right? This is still the start of what this family needs to go through Is the department going to stay with the family, stay in close contact with the family, even as the trial gets underway of the two accused in this case, Dr. Magurumana and Thabo Bester, and those other accused?
Yes, definitely, because we understand that, you know, that once it starts going to court, there'll be information that will be traumatizing to them. So the department will be there with them every step of the way until we are satisfied that they can now cope on their own. But they will know that should anything happen, because remember with grief, you can give them counseling for a month or 2 months and they will think that they are fine. But come 6 months or a year after, then something triggers them and it brings back all those emotions. So our social workers will always be there for them.
Correct. Insofar as information from other government departments is concerned, because obviously as this case progresses, as the weeks go by, there will be some information that the family will try to get from other government institutions, right? Even information about the case that is in court. Will this also be the role of your department, to be that mediator, to get all of the latest information if the family does have any questions?
Yes, if the family does have any questions, actually our team has been linked with the investigation team. So they will always have information on what's happening so that the family is kept abreast as to everything that is happening.
Lindiwe Mnguni is the spokesperson for the Free State Department of Social Development. Lindiwe, thanks very much indeed for your time this Wednesday.